Welcome to the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, where we bring you a weekly dose of powerlifting news, tips, and training advice with a touch of 80s rock ballads. This podcast is presented by Team Roar Powerlifting, your source of the most comprehensive coaching and meet day preparation. Here are your hosts, Josh Rohr and Laura Sturm.
All right, welcome to episode 133. Hi, Josh Rohr. How are you?
Hey, Laura. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So, what happened last week?
So we had a guy lifting at Military Nationals, Xavier Richardson. He had his best meet to date. He went 9 for 9, hit a 207.5 kilo squat, which was a 52.5 kilo meet PR, a 125 kilo bench, which was a 20 kilo meet PR, and a 255 kilo deadlift, which was a 37.5 kilo meet PR. For a total of 587.5 kilos, grand total of 130 kilo meet PR. Not bad.
Yeah, not bad. Not really what he wanted, huh?
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Well, it's funny because he's like, it isn't what he's like, I could have done more. Like, of course, nobody's ever satisfied. I get
Nobody
it.
Ever is.
I totally get it. I mean,
wow.
Maybe happy, but never satisfied. I don't know how you say it.
Right. Always wanting more. 130 kilo meet PR. And it was like,
I mean, full disclosure, like he's in the military, and last time he did a meet, he was like training for one of his fitness tests or whatever. So he was doing a lot of running, and he was down a weight class, and so he has like been able to actually train and just focus on powerlifting recently. But even so, like that's a huge
right.
PR total. That's not normal.
Well, and when you go 9 for 9, it's like, yay, that's awesome. But then you're like, well, what if I just put a little bit more on? Could I've got that too, right?
He did get one red light, I think, on bench for something. I can't remember. It was a yellow card. I looked at Lifting Cast.
So he got all green lights too.
Yeah. Well, no, except for one, because he got one red light with a yellow card. So
wow.
So there's that. He could have gotten one more white light, even though it didn't matter.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, good job, I'd say.
Yeah, but it was pretty good. So that kind of leads into the next like little rant that I'm going to talk about here. Because we had a lot of lifters lift at the state meet 2 weeks ago. A lot of lifters did the Arnold this past week, and Xavier, just did Military Nationals. But as we're getting programming out to people that had just got done competing, I got a lot of angry people because I don't think legit angry, but I guess where I'm going with this is, we just come off of, everybody lifting heavy, the weights are going up, the reps are going down, and then you jump back into kind of our first block back, which is typically a hypertrophy block. There's a lot of tempo work. There's a lot of, pause work, assistance work that is very directly targeting your weakest link, which is the part that you don't want to be hanging out in. And, everybody just assumes I hate them at this point. So I figured I would address that because, maybe answer everybody's concerns directly. I guess.
You don't hate them?
Well, I didn't say that. I'm just kidding. That's my humor. It's not very good, but
it's okay.
No, I think, because it's so easy to get in that mindset, like, lifting heavy. And like, as soon as you get back in the gym, like, oh, my meet, all the lifts went pretty good. Like, I just want to, see what I can actually do. Well, that's not really the time to do that. Like, as soon as the meet's over, that's the time to start building that foundation again. So, we're literally breaking down, technique. Like, I have people that, are competing at that very, very high level that are, taking hundreds of pounds off of the bar right now. And, we're starting over being almost like fine picking all the little details and working our way back up, and granted that's, some of these lifters are not competing again until Raw Nationals in September. So that's 6 months from now. So we literally are training for 6 months for Raw Nationals, which gives us a lot of time.
Right. It's kind of like the day after Christmas, right? where you've been working so hard, getting everything ready for this one day, and then the day's done, and you're like, oh, okay. So it's not as now you're back to putting in the work, and it's just not as it's not as fun as a competition.
And I think, that's the thing, like we as lifters, like that's the whole point of the meet, is to lift heavy weight, and then to be like, okay,
Right.
now I need you to take 200 pounds off the bar and, change your technique a little bit. But like, and you're like, but I just hit meet PRs, like doing what I'm doing. Why would I change anything? And we're not necessarily changing things for competition. We're changing things in the short term to more directly address the weakest part of your lift. So it is intentionally making things harder where it's already hard right now, I guess, if that makes sense.
Right. And it's, it's putting in the work. It's kind of getting back to the little details, the things that maybe aren't so much fun. It's the chop wood, carry water part.
I don't know what that means.
You don't know what that means. It's like just putting in the tedious work day after day after day, where that is actually what's actually making progress. And it's maybe not so glamorous and fun, but it's what gives you results.
Yeah, agreed. This isn't exactly true, but like the statement I always tell people is like, you're either training to build strength or you're training to realize the strength that you've built. It's kind of one or the other. And that's not exactly 100% true, but it kind of puts it in perspective a little bit. Like you're either setting fire to all the wood you chopped and having a big bonfire, or, you want to have a bonfire tomorrow too, after chopping all the wood, but all you have is a few sticks. So you have this little tiny fire that lasts, 20 seconds and then it burns out. That was actually not a bad analogy for completely putting the seat of my pants.
Winging it.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah. But I think some of it too, like, some of the comments and feedback I've gotten back is just like, it's almost like some of the lifters that haven't been doing this for a while, like there's almost like a little bit of a trust issue too. Like why are you, it's almost like it feels like I'm purposely making them weaker right now, because again, we're changing technique and changing mechanics to make the hardest part of the lift even harder right now. Which seems like, why would we do that? Like that's going backwards from where we're trying to get to. But the idea is to make you stronger in those weak positions, so then we can down the road be able to lift more weight.
Right.
And stay injury free. Like that's obviously number one priority.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes the tempo work is boy, it makes a unloaded barbell feel heavy. But it's meaningful.
And I'll use a few examples without saying names, but like, we got one lifter that, has a really, really good squat and is really good at, the bottom half of the lift, hitting it really hard and almost bouncing out of the bottom, which is great. Like we want to do that in competition because it helps you lift more weight. However, this lifter loses a little bit of tension in the bottom because they go so fast. But it more than makes up for it in competition. But right now, what are we doing? We are purposely going slow in that bottom half to learn how to keep, the glutes, the quads, the hamstrings, everything engaged in that range of motion. So then when we get back to training normal and start going fast again, they have that fresh, I guess, mind-body connection of how to keep those things engaged while they hit fast. And that's like
the double whammy.
Good.
Double good.
Yeah. So, so these things are not just to punish people. I mean, it's literally to, exploit the weaknesses and make them better.
Yep. So keep going, smile through it, and chop wood and carry water.
Yep.
I was like, carry water, chop wood. No,
I have
same
no idea. I legitimately have
never heard that
and do not know.
Oh, okay. So we'll just keep moving. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we collected some driving songs lists. Is that where we're at?
Yep, I think so.
All right. So we're going to talk about the top 5 driving songs. All right.
So we're also going to play a little clip, right?
Yep, because we think we can.
So if anybody is like a copyright attorney or anything like that, maybe reach out to us and let us know if this is a bad idea or not. But we're only going to play a short clip, and we're doing it to talk about the song, I guess.
Right. All right. So our first song on our number 5 list is Detroit Rock City by Kiss. The reasoning for this person to have submitted this song is it's a song about driving all night, and there was even a really bad movie made about this song in the late 90s. Did not know that. But really, what a great song. I mean,
yeah,
it's Kiss.
Kiss is one of my all-time favorite bands. So Foreigner is my all-time favorite band, but Kiss is like right up there. So
I didn't know Foreigner was it for you.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. It's kind of a weird pick, but that's my all-time favorite.
Well, that's sums it up. Josh Orr, he's kind of weird.
Fair.
All right, so the next song is Ain't Too Proud to Beg by the Rolling Stones. I mean,
yep.
Can you go wrong with the Rolling Stones either?
No.
I it would be my driving song.
You said you don't know that it would be your driving song?
Yeah. I mean, would it make me drive faster? Probably make me drive slower.
Is that okay?
Maybe that's a good idea.
Wait. Yeah, I was gonna say, is that really the goal here though? To drive faster?
Goal, pretty much.
Or to drive better?
To be in the flow with driving.
Got it. Okay.
Yes. And that usually is fast.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So our next song. Oh, and sorry, they said Temptations with a Stones twist, because that is true. It was a Temptation song.
Yeah.
But would everyone know that? I hope so. Don't know. Our next song is Hollaback Girl, Gwen Stefani.
Yep. I like that song. Again, I don't know if that's a driving song for me, but
I would drive to it.
You would? I mean, I would drive to it, but if I'm talking about a top 5 list here, full disclosure, I'll go ahead and say it. I didn't get around to submitting a list, so I'm not participating in this. So
that wasn't your song. That's what you're saying?
No. I'm basically just going to be like the grumpy old man yelling at people to get off my lawn. I'm just going to like talk down on all these songs because I'm not playing, and I'm bitter about it. But hey, you snooze, you lose. Co-host or not, you still got to follow the rules.
Yeah, damn it, Josh. All right. Well, the person who said who suggested the song said, when your day was just fucking bananas and you need to let your voice be heard, you spell bananas out the window loud AF, which I think is a great reason.
That is a great reason.
Yes.
I love it.
Sometimes your day is just fucking bananas and you need to spell bananas out the window loud as fuck.
Okay, so like after that explanation, like now I can kind of vibe with it a little bit, like feeling the type of day and like screaming out the window.
There you go.
That
next time you have that day.
That argument actually did help their cause there for sure.
Nice. All right, so the next song is Sun King by The Cult.
I don't know that song.
I love The Cult.
I do too, but I don't know that song.
You don't know that song?
Maybe I didn't play the melody.
Yeah, you need to go do some homework and come back. Listen to that song. We have it in our playlist, by the way. Everyone can listen to the songs, the full songs in the playlist. I love The Cult. So They can't do anything wrong in my mind. The statement around this song was the opening shot of the Cult's third album, titled Sonic Temple, launched the Cult into superstardom. The opening moments of the song features musicians doodling around with no particular form or direction. Then Ian Astbury says, "This is where it all ends, like an empty threat for a split second, and then guitar, bass, and drums come in like a wave with definite direction. Astbury's claim suddenly makes sense. The world is no longer what it was a few seconds before. An open invitation to hit the road is set As the next line spills out, the kind of dream you've never seen. Ooh, I like that explanation.
I couldn't follow what you just said, to be honest. So I'm gonna say it was a good explanation based on you reading it, but that was kind of hard to follow.
Okay. All right. So the next song is Tell Me Something Bad About Tulsa by George Strait.
How those old oil wells smell in the wind.
All right, I can't say I've ever heard that either, but I'm actually a big George Strait fan, so apparently I'm not a very big George Strait fan if I don't know this song.
Yeah, I can't say I know the song either. It's about a guy who's looking for a reason not to travel to Tulsa.
Looking for a reason?
He says he's looking for a reason not to travel to Tulsa.
I can think of a few just off the top of my head.
I'm like, okay. Well, Tulsa sucks then. All right, our next song is Good for You, Olivia Rodrigo.
Good for you, I guess you moved on really easily. You found a new girl and it only took a couple weeks.
I'd never heard that song before.
Yeah, me either.
This person says, this is my top 5 driving playlist if I had turned 18 years old in 2023. So apparently they hadn't. Giving you my top 5 driving songs in my 32 years on this planet seems like a lot of work, especially since I likely won't make it past the first round. Therefore, I've decided to reflect on what I probably would have listened to if I was born in 2005 and still navigating my teenage angst. So this person says it's inevitable that I would have had my heart broken once or twice in a relationship stemming from a Fortnite chat room. When that happened, I would have turned to Olivia Rodrigo to help express my anger and sadness. Of course, it would have been a car song, so my friends weren't aware that I knew all their lyrics and listened to them on repeat while driving to school.
That is a thorough monologue.
That is a thorough monologue of why that song.
I like
it. This person has problems.
Or solutions.
There you go. That's true. I like it. I like the approach of like, what playlist would I have put together if I was 18?
Yeah.
I don't even know. All right. So our next song is LA Woman by The Doors.
City at night. City at night. Whoa!
Yes.
Right.
I love that song.
You have to love that song.
Yeah. So had I done a list, this might have made my list, but I didn't do one, so I can't take credit for it. But so when I was in high school, my 2 bands were Kiss and The Doors, and this was my favorite Doors song back in the day. So yeah, I give this one the Josh seal of approval from the person that didn't even take the time to participate.
Well, that's okay, Josh. At least you're giving it the seal of approval.
I'm living vicariously through everybody else.
There you go. So the person's reasoning for this song was you have to drive fast to this classic. I'd agree. Our next song is King of the Road by Roger Miller.
King of the road.
Yeah, that's a good one. Pretty a little laid back for me for my driving songs, I think. But
yes, this is when I would have to be driving slower in traffic, maybe.
Or this could be one like maybe this would be a good one for you, like in rush hour traffic when you're needing to be a little more mellow.
Yeah, where I have to not flip people the birds or anything like that. So the person on this one says a bit of a deep cut, but if y'all aren't familiar with Roger Miller's work, you should be. Miller is the king of sincere whimsy, and this song epitomizes the wanderlust that I feel when embarking on a long road trip. I'm like, oh, wanderlust. I love that word.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the use of that word bumps it up a little bit for me, just because that's a good word.
Yeah. Well written. And this person included a Spotify list and a link to their whole list. So that's amazing. And I don't know if I actually used those versions of their songs. Hope I did. Sorry. All right. So our next song is Never Going to Give You Up by Rick Astley.
You know the rules, and so do I. I've still commitments.
Yeah, I think if you don't know this song,
You're under a rock. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed for you.
Yes. And their explanation was, you just got Rick rolled.
Nice.
Very nice. And our next song is On the Road Again, Willie Nelson.
I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again.
Oh, Willie.
Oh, Willie. I mean, it's the best type of song to listen to at the beginning of your road trip. Like, when you're all like hyped up and you're about to go on the road, and then you put that on,
Yeah.
you're like, yeah.
Because you don't need the hype when you're hyped to start. You need
Right.
the hype when you're like, it's been 6 hours and I got 4 hours to go. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. Right. So this is a great song for the beginning of the road trip.
Yeah.
I approve. The next song is Jet City Woman by Queensryche.
Great song.
I know, 2 thumbs up right there. I love
Yeah.
that song. I'm mad I didn't put it on my list, truthfully.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You just can't go wrong.
I was going to try to argue against it just because I'm bitter.
can't.
I didn't
You
get to
can't.
play, but
Don't be a bitter old man. It's a great
I'm-
song, and it's an amazing
am-
driving song.
spoiler alert, I am a bitter old man.
That's terrible.
Anyway, sorry.
All right. So we're going to move on to our last song in the list, Low Rider by War.
All my friends know the low rider.
Great
It's
song.
a great song. It really is. I remember it from a Cheech and Chong movie.
Yeah. Up in smoke.
Probably.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Just a guess.
Not that you would know, because you definitely didn't watch that while you were.
Yeah, I watched I watched a lot of those when I was younger. For some reason, my dad watched them, but I didn't know like the context of. That's the funny part, because like my dad doesn't smoke weed or anything like that, but like we always watched these movies when I was younger, thinking they were really funny. It's
were.
like, no, I mean they were, but they were funny to me just because it's like, that's hilarious. There's a guy sitting in a car with a bunch of smoke inside. So like as a young naive kid, I'm thinking like, does he have wires shorting out in there or something? Like that's where my mind goes. Not even a clue that he's like smoking weed in there.
Oh, yeah. So it wasn't like Josh Rohr, the young stoner, that was listening
No, it was like,
to Cheech and
yeah, it was
Chong,
like Josh Rohr, the naive, like, oh, that's funny.
5-year-old.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay. Great song though. Love that. Great pick. That person didn't say why. Either did the person about Queensryche, but I mean, do you need to say anything? They were just great songs. But great songs. So our list this week that Josh is going to put up in the Instagram, in the gram, is a link to the Spotify playlist that will have all of those songs, so you can listen to.
So we'll put the link in the Instagram story highlights with the episode. So you'll be able to click through and get to the link that'll take you directly to it in Instagram as well. So you actually get to listen to the songs. Thank you, Laura, for putting that together.
You're welcome. It was kind of fun. All right, so back to powerlifting. Here's the powerlifting situation. During your warm-up sets for squats, you notice some pain in your knee. It's not too bad, but you're not sure if you should push through and continue with your heavy squats for the day or play it safe and skip them. What would you do?
Tiger Bomb. More Tiger Bomb. That's the
Let's
first
have more
step.
Tiger Bomb.
That's step one.
Capsaicin.
Yeah. Oh, that's step one. Capsaicin step two. Probably skip squats and try it the next day would be step three if capsaicin doesn't fix it. Now a lot of times, this is a pretty common scenario, because if muscles are a little bit tight or anything like that, some of the sharp pain could be just a little bit of nerve impingement that could be caused again from some of that tightness. So, warming up better, foam rolling, doing a little bit of, mobility, specifically knee mobility, just taking it through a range of motion, things like that can a lot of times alleviate some of that pain that you have. It could be, just inflammation from previous training days too, which is causing some of the, discomfort. But, the real sharp pain that you're going to feel is most likely, nerve pain being pinched from one of those scenarios. This scenario, I don't think specifies that it's sharp pain. I'm just kind of giving different examples there, but I would continue to warm up and try to just address it by doing some of those things I just mentioned. And then if it's just not getting better and it's your heavy squat day, it's probably not worth the risk to try to push through and do it. I mean, if you can do something lighter for the day, maybe do that. But if you still like, if it's timing wise close to a meet and you need to do that heavy squat training session, maybe we try to do it tomorrow, maybe in 2 days. But, again, timing is pretty important when you're peaking. So if it's your last heavy squat day, I mean, you have to, maybe do some conversing with your coach and try to figure out what the strategy is. But
Yep.
that's my thoughts. You?
My knees often hurt before they are fully warmed up, and they crack and creak and snap and pop and make all sorts of sounds that I'd rather they didn't make. But usually once I'm warmed up and I have a little support on them, they are fine. So sometimes just early in the warm up, it's just getting moving. So I would keep moving, try to do a little mobility, make sure you're maybe sitting at the bottom of a squat, see if that helps open it up a little bit, stretch out the quads, make sure it's nice and warm, and kind of judge from there. But if it continues to hurt or is getting worse, definitely shut it down and do it a different day.
Agreed.
Or just throw some knee wraps on and go. Be like, fuck it, we ball.
Yeah. Oh man.
Don't actually do that. I'm only kidding. Well, mostly. Yeah. A little bit of support's nice on the knees though. That would be when I'd be like, yeah, let's get a little wrap. If I'm raw, I might put a light wrap on.
Yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, like that wasn't our, I mean, maybe it was your pitch to coax people or Inception to get them into equipment, but all jokes aside, I think you're right. Like that could be a situation where just a little extra support for the day does the trick to get you through. I've had raw lifters like do their squat day in like a real loose squat suit, that's just a little bit more than a tight singlet for support because they're having hip issues or whatever. And again, it's not to get away with not addressing the actual problem, but sometimes it's enough to just get you through the training session without further making things worse and then continuing to address it afterwards. So yeah, knee wraps is not a bad option.
Knee wraps is always the answer.
Always the answer. Yeah.
Pretty much. Yes. Our new lifter tip this week is consistency is key. Set realistic goals, track your progress, and stick to a consistent training routine. Agree or disagree?
Agree. This is like overly simplistic, but I think this is where people need to kind of ground themselves sometimes and get back to making sure you're doing these things because, we all want instant progress, right? We all want to be like Xavier and put 100 and some kilos on our total between meets, but that's not a normal, realistic expectation. And sometimes it feels like, we've been going to the gym consistently, for a month, but like progress has slowed down because I came in as a newbie and, the newbie gains wear off. So like, it's like I'm putting in way more work in relation to how much stronger I'm getting. And sometimes that starts messing with your perception of actual progress. Having those realistic goals, exactly that, like know what's realistic, what's not. If you exceed them, great. If you're always setting like super crazy goals that you're never going to attain, that's okay too, but you need to do both if you're going to do that, because if you're always setting only the crazy far-fetched goals that are not likely to happen that often, and at least in the time frame that you have set it, then you're always going to be disappointed.
Every mountain is climbed with one step. You start with one step, and you have to keep going, every consistency. You can't stress that enough.
Yeah. And I think tracking your progress is important too, because I mean, there's lifters that I have now that I'm working with that have been, around for 4 or 5, 6 years, that they have a day where for whatever reason, they're not recovered or whatever. And like weight that they normally can do, for 2 or 3 reps at like a 7 RPE feels like a 9 RPE. And they're like really frustrated. Like, man, I'm not getting anywhere. And then we look at videos from 2 years ago when that weight was their goal for a 1 rep max. So it's like, you kind of got to keep things in perspective, because if you didn't have that documented, you wouldn't even think about that anymore. All you're thinking about is, wow, I'm weaker than I was last week or whatever. And you don't see over time how far you've actually come.
That's a good point. So they should keep chopping wood and carrying water.
Keep chopping wood and carrying water. Yes.
See how I brought that around? It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
that's pretty good.
All right. Well, that's all we have this week. And we'll talk to you next week. And next week will be our number 4 songs in the list.
Yep, for sure. Don't forget to check out our Instagram at PL Ballads Podcast. We're going to have the link to the episode and the link to the number 5 song, so you can hit the play button in your vehicle,
Drive fast.
drive fast. Yeah. We at Powerlifting and Power Ballads Podcast do not condone fast driving. We encourage you to buckle up and drive safely at all times.
Don't text and drive. Arrive
Don't
alive.
text and drive. Yes. All right. I tried to do some real fast
That was
disclaimer
good. That was
there.
good.
but I kind
Off
of
the
mumbled
cuff.
more than I wanted to, but it was not bad.
Yeah, you did good. You did good.
Cool.
All right. Well, until next week. Bye now.
Later.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode of the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, please remember to subscribe and share it with your friends.